Chris, your defense ended up holding OKC to 41% when I think in the first half they were shooting like 54%. How did you see that flip?
Well, I mean, obviously the zone helped us a lot, but just more competitiveness on the ball. We were so far off our guys in the first half, they kind of went wherever they wanted to go. That was the first thing we had to turn around. So we did a good job there. We contested a lot better. I think they had like 15 points on uncontested shots in the first. Other than a few zone breakdowns, I thought pretty much every shot was contested for us tonight. So in the second half, so that was better. And that's where it begins and ends.
Ant's first 11 shots in the third quarter felt like that was the turning point.
Yeah.
And then the injury. One, just if you have any information on that, but just his play in the third quarter.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a hip contusion. It's turned the game around for us. Got us, it's a very tough team to play. They throw a lot of bodies at you when you put the ball on the deck, and it was hard to get a rhythm offensively against them all night long. So that's what beauty of a guy like Ant is, can kind of create his own offense and do his own thing. And tonight was really an opportunity that we needed that. So.
Chris, just what can you say about what Troy gave you off the bench?
Yeah, he's been playing really well for us. This is like not a this is a process. Where he's kind of played himself into this game. But it was huge. Just the hustle plays, the rebounds, and obviously the shot making was huge, and made the big deep one on the left slot. But just really love how he's been playing for us all season. But whether it's been 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 12 minutes, now tonight he plays over 20, and we need to lift off the bench like that. So,
just what have you learned about him as a player, as his makeup, just as your first year coaching him?
I mean, I love coaching him because he's just the same mood every day. He's really happy, whether he's in the rotation or not. He stays patient. He understands. He gets it. And he's a lot better shooter than I thought he was. We knew he could shoot, but he's one of those guys when he catches the ball and lets it fly, I think it's going in automatically, And before I thought he was a little more streaky, but watching him play up close and personal is the confidence in his shot, and he can shoot contested threes, which is really a benefit too. So, and I just like he does a lot of small things. He cuts, moves well, moves the ball. He's not a ball holder. He's not trying to pound it. And we need that at times, even more so than anything else. So,
Chris, when Ant went down, I think that's when Mike Conley checked into the game, and I think he played the rest of the stretch there. I mean, what did he give you in the just kind of stability in the fourth quarter there?
Yeah, I thought he got a lot of really good looks. They didn't necessarily go down for him, but you got to have a guy like Mike in that game. I played him way too long, but he kept telling me he was fine. He was awesome, just kind of quarterbacking things out there as he always does. But I needed a safe pair of hands, a guy who's going to make big shots in big moments. I felt that of our options, he was, I thought about kind of giving him a rest in the middle of the fourth, but we had timeouts. I lost the timeout too. I was trying to take, but, I just kind of went with the offense. I think Nas made a bank shot on the right wing or something like that. So it worked out, but I was trying to get him another breather in there too.
And then you mentioned the zone in the second half. What did that specifically change with, Rudy being at the basket? That seemed to be a very different position.
With Holmgren, obviously they pull you away from the hoop, and the matchup takes away. We didn't really do a great job of making a lot of late switches, like we had talked about. And Rudy got caught like in kind of no man's land. They were racing him in the first half, and then it was literally like ball contained, just like show him as many bodies as we can between the ball and the basket, and that's what the zone did, really. So,
hey Chris, what did Ant say thought he'd be able to keep playing, or what went into those couple of possessions where he just kind of hobbled around up?
Yeah, we were going to take a foul to get him out, and then he said he thought he was fine. So they didn't take the foul, and then a couple possessions later, he tried to take a foul to take himself out, because I don't know if he wrenched the hip on that play or something or not, but or had just kind of flared up to the point where he realized he couldn't, So
mean, we talked about Rudy just being healthy and looking like himself all season. Like, he talked all last year about how tough it was to find an identity. I mean, what percentage of the role does he play in just establishing that identity on a nightly basis?
Yeah, I think it's quite significant, really. I said this earlier in the season, like, he's a tone setter for your defense. And oftentimes tone setters are on the ball, and, rim protectors, of course, have a great impact, and they're necessary to win at a high level in this league. But I think he sets the tone not just with his presence back there and his activity this year, but also, he's way more way more kind of quarterback in the defense, if you will, verbal. His communication is a lot more effective than it was a year ago. I think he was still struggling with a lot of different kind of concepts and terminology. So I think he's a huge part of our identity for sure. So,
with the wings going down, and your ability to run switches and zones, do you think there's a possibility you get those three bigs in a lineup soon?
Yeah, you know what? I came very close to doing it tonight. I really did. So I think there's every chance that could happen. So
You're talking about Troy's demeanor, and he's a guy been in the rotation, out of the rotation, back in early in the season here. Just is that something maybe you guys kind of target when it comes to like that kind of spot on the roster, like somebody who's going to be able to maybe handle the ebbs and flows of being in and out of a lineup, whether it be from their mentality, their attitude, or
I think obviously Tim and those guys do a great job of canvassing the league and understanding all the intel of all these players. So for sure, that's something that goes into it. A guy who knows who he is, plays his role. At that part of the roster. When we got Troy this summer, we had every intention that he would be in the rotation. Then we map it out, and he just kind of fell out, but he played well enough to be in it. And he's, like I said, been nothing but professional. I told him one day, hey, bear with us. Your time's coming. He says, I'm cool, coach. I'm ready. I'll be ready. And so, the more guys you have like that on your team, obviously, the more it helps your maturity, and that's been a big goal for us. So we had to get more guys who, were willing and to accept those kind of inconsistent roles.